Hello everybody, it's the Gnome and welcome to your October 2019 Funko Pop update. So, we all know why we're here. Yes, our wallets are screaming out in pain because we are about to witness New York City Comic Con 2019, and of course, there's a lot of stuff that Funko has to offer this year. But I will say, it's not their biggest announcement in terms of quantity this year. They've definitely gone above and beyond this time around in very specific ways that I'm definitely going to get into later. And one of the big questions that I had for myself was, am I going to actually survive, or am I going to end up spending tons of money this time around? I also will let you guys know, I'm quite surprised that I'm not. There were certain things that definitely caught my eye, but at this point in time, I see myself walking away with only 2 items from New York City Comic Con, and quite frankly, especially if you've watched my 10 for 12 that I did with Cammy over from Cammy's Corner in late September, Funko Pops are sort of taking a back seat at this point in time in my world. I mean, I still have a plenty of stuff on pre-order that are going to be coming in the coming months to my house, and I'm really excited to show you guys what I have. But I have to admit, besides one specific Funko Pop line that I'm waiting to get a pre-order link to, and that of course is Iron Maiden's Eddie, there really isn't anything that Funko is giving me down the horizon that I'm interested in. I never would have imagined that after going on 7 years of collecting, I'm quite surprised that I ended up collecting these things for so long, but I was always wondering when that day was going to be that I actually said, you know what, I think I might be done. And honestly, I'm not upset about that because I'm very happy with everything that I have, but who knows? Funko always seems to be full of surprises, if anything, and they definitely gave us some surprises this year. But before we get into all of the news, I of course have to tell you how my collection has been going. So the theme for today's collection update is icons. Now, icon is a word that can have a great meaning these days, and it can mean a great many things. But one of the few things that Funko does is they like to capture these iconic popular culture inspirational figures. Maybe some are more inspirational than others, but they definitely are landmarks in popular culture, and they definitely have a great fandom behind them. The first pop that we're going to go over is actually one that belongs to my wife, and it is a Target exclusive. One of the really good things that Funko did was they gave us icons from American history. And while Rosie the Riveter may not have been an actual person, she was inspired by a real woman, this specific creation, and it was a figure that empowered women everywhere, especially during World War II, but the name and the figure carried on throughout time, and she still is one of the most inspirational pop culture icons. Also, the details on her are fantastic, from her bandana to the curls in her hair to even the Riveter gun and, of course, the signature fist pump that she has in the famous poster We Can Do It. She is someone that is a true inspiration for women, as well as all proud Americans out there. My wife, being the history teacher, loves Rosie the Riveter, and knowing that she was going to become a Funko Pop was something that she wanted to add to the collection. There also are another great group of figureheads in history, including some presidents, as well as a moment of crossing the Delaware, and there's going to be some new ones somewhere down the line. And I'm pretty sure that this line is going to sell because they obviously are making a second wave, and the more these sell, the more great icons from history we will get, because quite frankly, there are so many great people that have inspired this nation in particular for so many years, and they all deserve to have their place in Funko's lineup. The next character is not necessarily the most inspirational of figures, but when it comes to the world of comic strips, he is a true icon, and he's one of my personal favorites in all of comics and cartoons. It is Garfield the cat from the comics line. When I heard that they were finally giving us Garfield, I jumped for joy because I love the Jim Davis creation. I have so many of the books. I know the theme song in the back of my head. It's one of the greatest cartoon theme songs of all time, but Garfield is just a character that just makes me smile, puts me in a good mood, and of course makes me laugh. And I had to get the Funko Shop exclusive because of the fact that he is holding a coffee mug that says I Hate Mondays on it, and yes, there looks like there's even coffee in the mug. But you know what? He's a hard character to actually turn into a Funko Pop, but I think that they did the very best that they could. They definitely got the facial expressions right. I love that his eyes are so much bigger than most Funko Pops, because that's him in the comic strip. I also love the bland expression, but they did a great job with the stripes all the way around, as well as his big tail, because he's got that very big ball-shaped round end, as well as the feet. They did a great job on the feet, and this is definitely one of the fun Pops that I have in my collection, because even though there are so many better looking Funko Pops when it comes to turning certain pop culture characters into Funko Pops, I still think that Garfield was turned into a good one. But when you want to talk about one of the most inspirational people in my life, I mean, this goes back to when I was maybe even 2 years old. Jim Henson is a true legend when it comes to creating popular culture. He had a mind like no other. We are now in the 50th year of the iconic series that he created, Sesame Street. Along with that, The Muppet Show, Fraggle Rock, Storyteller. He also had a helping hand in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and of course the film Labyrinth, and of course now the spin-off with the movie itself, The Dark Crystal and The Dark Crystal Age of Resistance on Netflix, which I think is one of the best shows I've ever seen. Jim Henson just could do no wrong when it comes to just getting those gears of imagination running wild in his head, and they did such a good job with this Pop, because he always had that black shirt with the big turtleneck collar, as well as just the plain old outfit that he always had, but also they got his facial expression. I think they got the face absolutely perfect, especially with the gray streaks in his hair, and as well as the beard. But, you know, what makes this Pop, dare I say it, of course, is the fact that he is holding Kermit the Frog. There also is the Target exclusive of him holding Ernie. Ironically, no surprise, because he voiced both Kermit and Ernie, but I said to myself, if I'm going to get the Jim Henson Pop, it's got to be the one of him holding Kermit, which is the common, and I'm not upset about that, because Kermit has been the second personality of Jim Henson. Whenever people think of Jim Henson, they expect to see a picture of Kermit the Frog. And these three Pops definitely represent some true landmarks, and I'm really glad that they are in my collection. So, with a big breath and a sip of water, let's get into all of the amazing news that is coming from Funko. So I have to be perfectly honest with you guys, I am extremely tired right now and running on fumes, but there is so much news to give to you guys. Besides the New York City Comic-Con releases that they've given us, there's still so many additional things that are happening. New lines, new exclusives, new just about everything. Funko is just not slowing down, and it's really getting scary at this point. But I have to tell you what's happening, otherwise I wouldn't be a great Funko Pop updater. So, no specialty series this time around in October, but we are going to start with all of the Funko Shop exclusives. We have everything from new Fantastic Plastics to new mascots to even Halloween-themed stuff, like the new Halloween Huey, Dewey, and Louie, the Loch Ness Monster, and of course a version of Pennywise from It Chapter 2. So many great things. I'm hoping that you guys will get a chance to get them if you want them. The one that really surprised me was Big Yella, who happens to be the old mascots from Corn Pops. Yes, Kellogg's Corn Pops. I had no idea that they even had a mascot, so this of course is a little history lesson for me as well. But personally, I'm glad to see that Loch Ness Monster is happening, because they were trying to give us more of these legends and all they had was Bigfoot, so it's nice to finally see a new character. Plenty of t-shirts, everybody, from every which way, including a Hot Topic It collector box with an exclusive Pop, but we've got everything from Gremlins to Dragon Ball Z to The Office even. So many amazing t-shirt boxes, of course with Pops inside the boxes as well, and of course the 80th anniversary of Batman just keeps going on with a original Detective Comics 27 Batman in his own box. We also have a whole bunch of very interesting exclusives. We've got a glow-in-the-dark Phoenix, once again, Don't like the fact that we're not getting any new X-Men. This is like the 5th rehash of Jean, but much like the X-Men comics, she just keeps dying and coming back from the ashes. And she is a glow-in-the-dark Phoenix from Entertainment Earth. There's also going to be a theme park exclusive from Disney at Galaxy's Edge in Hollywood Studios. This is the first. You can only get Hondo from Star Wars Rebels and Clone Wars. He is everybody's favorite space pirate. He is only available at the Hollywood Studios where the Galaxy Edge Park is. But I think the most interesting thing that was announced, actually at San Diego Comic-Con, it's finally happening, the Designer Con exclusive of Icon Mark Hamill. As much as I would love to have a Mark Hamill, there is no way that I'm going to be able to get my hands on him unless he becomes a common. I'm such a big fan, especially considering the fact that one of the special chases, I think this is a chase, this could be a common or an exclusive, I don't know, but it's Mark Hamill in the Joker suit. That is fantastic, and as a Mark Hamill fan, that couldn't be any more appropriate. We also had the announcement of the new Star Wars Smuggler's Bounty Box, which is not really so new anymore. It's almost a month old, but it was pod racing, and part of me was kind of excited because I thought we were going to get a Anakin in his pod racer, but instead we didn't. We got 2 pops that have characters that are featured in the pod race scenes in episode 1, including Sebulba, which some people were really excited about. The t-shirt looks pretty cool, as does the pin, but I'm just not a big fan of this specific box, and I'm kind of glad that I didn't end up getting it. But one of the things that recently was announced was the fact that Star Wars Smuggler's Bounty is officially ending. There are going to be only 2 more boxes. One of them is now available for pre-order on Amazon. They haven't told us what the theme is, but it's kind of sad that this collector box is going away. But if you were a fan of the pod racer stuff, you probably will enjoy this special box. We also have some new icons coming, and these are characters that I had a feeling were going to be pops eventually. We've got the Energizer Bunny from, of course, Energizer Batteries, and Chester Cheetah. I love their designs. They look wonderful, but they announced them literally right after the Coca-Cola Polar Bear was announced, and as great as they look, I was never really a person who ate Cheetos, and I'm a Duracell guy. Hate to say it, but I like the fact that these are being made because they are iconic ad icons. So if you want them, they're going to be commons, so they're not going to be that difficult to get. We also have a new addition to the Funimation exclusives. It is All Might Silver Chrome from My Hero Academia, so he's only going to be available at the Funimation website. But speaking of anime, and a couple of other things, there's a couple of interesting exclusives from Box Lunch. One of them is a flocked purple Scooby-Doo, and that's actually going to be giving more to a cause if you do in fact purchase this specific Scooby-Doo, so I think that that's wonderful. But I think a lot of people are very excited for the fact that there is going to be a flocked Appa from Avatar: The Last Airbender, and this is why I need to see Dragon Ball Super in its entirety soon, because there's going to be a double pack that's available now of Goku and Vegeta in their Super Saiyan God forms playing baseball. I have to watch the show just to find out where this scene actually happens, because this is one of the few things that I love about Funko. The fact that they take these specific moments in specific TV shows or movies, what have you, and make pops based on those. So I do like this. I have to know where this takes place in that series. Let's continue on with the 80th anniversary of Batman. There's no way that they're going to stop. We've got everything from exclusives from Entertainment Earth, Target, PX Previews, and Amazon. And so many different things, including a chrome Batman in the 1950s Batmobile, a Batwoman, which is really cool. She hasn't been a pop yet, which I think is a nice little addition to the DC Heroes collection. Also for red card holders at Target, a red Batman, and also at Target, an 80th anniversary Batman box with a Michael Keaton Batman pop. Now, I'm not really a big fan of the Tim Burton Batman films, guys. I hate to say it, but, you know, to each his own. I don't really care much for the pop, but I really like what is going on with that collector's box. I love the playing cards. I love the shot glass. I love the socks. Oh my god, the socks look great, but I'm still very much on the fence about buying it. But one of the other things that I do know is I still am even seeing collector boxes that Target offered from January 2019 that are still on their shelves. I was quite surprised that one of them is the Chuck Norris box, because who the hell doesn't want Chuck Norris? But this is a really cool box. I would love to see if this might actually be something I want to get, but right now I'm still very much on the fence. Continuing on with Batman, we also have a couple of interesting versions of Batman, including Bat-Mite, which is a fan favorite. But, you know, there are 6-inch pops, there are 10-inch pops, but now there are 19-inch supersized pops, and we're getting our first one of Batman. Do we really need a 19-inch version of Batman? I mean, the 80th anniversary of Batman has been milked long enough, but you know what? I can't stop Funko from making Batman stuff. And if there is anybody out there who's watching this video that ends up buying this 19-inch Batman, please make a video, because I just have to see this thing and just see how tall it is compared to the average human being. Let's go into some other Hot Topic exclusives, of course, with the theme of Halloween. Of course, there's a lot of Halloween themes coming out now, and there's still more on the way. We've got a lot of very cool things, including Elvira Deluxe on the couch. That is her patented pose. I love it. Including another cereal of Funko's, Lydia from Beetlejuice. We also have a whole bunch of other interesting things, including 2 from music. We have Papa Emeritus 2. I have no idea what this singing star is. Please let me know what that is. But for Panic at the Disco fans, and I'm sure you're also big Nightmare Before Christmas fans, because now you can get a Dapper Sally to go with your Dapper Jack. But wow, Brendan Urie is becoming a Funko Pop. Not surprised. He's a very popular music person. It is Panic at the Disco, after all. He's the brainchild, and he has been really working hard over the last couple of years. He's one of the hardest working men in music today. So I know so many people that are fans of Panic, and I'm pretty sure they're going to want to get their hands on this Brendan Urie pop. And he's a Hot Topic exclusive. The good thing about Hot Topic is their exclusives seem to be a lot more abundant than others. So you'll probably have a very good chance of getting him. Continuing on with music, we've got 2 new Notorious B.I.G. pops coming, and of course, that's always a great thing, including one of them being a Hot Topic exclusive. Moving on with the Halloween themes, we have Jeepers Creepers becoming Funko Pops. Now, that's a big cult favorite in the world of scary movies, and you can get the regular as well as an FYE exclusive. We also have the newest movie, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I haven't seen it. I didn't really see many reviews about it, but I'm curious. All I do know is that I believe it's a children's book, and the fact that they are actually making pops out of this is quite interesting to me. But let me know if the movie's good. Cue the snapping of the fingers, everybody, because even though we have already gotten the Addams Family pop line already, there is an animated movie coming out in October, and I am telling you all, I am really excited to see this, and I love the pop line. I love the cartoon animated versions of the Addams Family, because, just in case you didn't know, there was an Addams Family cartoon in the early 1970s given to us from Hanna-Barbera. As a matter of fact, they even showed up in an episode of Scooby-Doo. But you've got the whole family, and I love the way that Wednesday looks with the hair, the fact that she has nooses for braids. I think that that is such a great touch, and I love their facial expressions, each and every one of them. Really excited to see this movie as well. And we're going to cap off the Halloween themes with a Walgreens exclusive of Herman Munster in biker gear. I like that. I also like the fact that there are more Munsters pops coming. And we've also got a very angry looking Agritsuko Rage version, and she is going to be a Barnes & Noble exclusive. The Greatest Showman is getting a pop line. Are you surprised? 'Cause I'm not. And I'm pretty sure that people who are fans of this movie are definitely going to want to get their hands on these pops. Now let's move on to video games, guys. After doing my 10 for 12 with Cammy over at Cammy's Corner, we did talk about how the game line in Funko is exploding. And there are so many different Funko Pops that have been announced based on video games. We've got PUBG. I don't know what this is. I might have even pronounced it all wrong. Please let me know, but it is a game, and there are some Funko Pops coming for this line. Also are going to be 3 pops for the Guild Wars set. This is also a very popular game that is being added to the game's line. I think one of the most interesting announcements that came out of San Diego Comic-Con was the fact that they were giving us a Dungeons & Dragons line. And Dungeons & Dragons is a very legendary game. I don't know who these characters are. I actually do have friends who do play the game, so I am very curious to know about these specific characters that are becoming Funko Pops. We also have Apex Legends, another new video game being added to the Funko Pop line, and there are a bunch of characters from this game. Never played it? Please put your comments in the box below to let me know what it's all about. Spyro has already had a pop line, and now he's getting an expansion. I mean, Spyro has so many versions in the games, it's such a fan favorite amongst many. Very happy to see that this game keeps getting more pops. Of course, Borderlands 3 is getting an expansion because Borderlands has been having Funko Pops come out for a very long time, but Borderlands 3 is the newest installment, so why not give them Funko Pops? And to cap off the video games, we're getting a new version of Pikachu. Pokemon is continuing on. I mean, I love the fact that we've gotten the starter 3 already, as well as oversized versions of them. But you know what? I was never really a big fan of the Pikachu, and of course, because of the fact that he was a Target exclusive, he was really hard to get. But I think they did such a great job on this new version, and he's also a common. You're going to be able to get him everywhere. But my wife and I said if we're going to get Pikachu in our collection, it has to be Detective Pikachu, and if he was flocked, it would be even sweeter. But this is a very cute version of Pikachu, so I'm sure that there are Pokemon fans every which way that are going to want to get their hands on this version of him. Let's get away from video games, board games if you will, and let's get into the real stuff. Let's get into some sports. As promised, I did tell you that there was going to be a common version of Saquon Barkley from the New York Giants in the NFL line, and here he is. I think in the world of sports, one of the biggest announcements was a true icon of sports for the last 3 decades, and that, of course, is Tiger Woods. Even though he had stumbled a little bit, and it took him such a long time to get back into his game, he really shined, especially this year, and gave us the comeback of a lifetime. Very glad to see that Funko is finally giving him a Funko Pop, because I truthfully feel he deserves it. I would really like to see another version of him, maybe bouncing a golf ball off of his club, because that's something that we've seen him do in commercials and stuff. It's one of his patented traits. That would just be a cool thing for the fans. And UFC, along with WWE, is extremely popular, and we've got 2 new additions to the UFC line, and I don't know who these guys are because I don't watch, but I'm sure that there are fans out there who do know who they are, so if you're ready to add them to your collections, go right ahead. Now let's move on to television. We still have more Stranger Things pops coming, especially from the new season, which was awesome, and a lot of people were asking for a common Robin. Guess what, guys? She's coming along with Alexei, everyone's favorite Russian on the show. I love the fact that he's holding the icy. I think that that was the best part of the whole series where he showed up, but I love the Robin. She became one of my favorite characters in Season 3, and this is the perfect way to give us a common version of her. And of course, another one of the biggest announcements is the Umbrella Academy line, a very popular show that came out this summer, and there's so many versions and so many chases, as well as a Hot Topic exclusive of a character that glows in the dark. I haven't watched the Umbrella Academy, and I haven't read the comic either, but I know a lot of people who are very excited for this line. Casa de Papel already had a line, and now we're getting an expansion. It's the English version's name, Money Heist. A lot of people are talking about this show. I've even gotten some comments when the first wave of this show came out. They say it's a great show. It's nice to see an expansion coming. And this is another expansion that I think we were all feeling was going to happen, and it's The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead has been one of the very first major Funko Pop lines. There are so many Walking Dead pops now, and I'm not surprised. Until the show is done, much like shows like Game of Thrones and others, we're not going to stop seeing Walking Dead pops until there's nothing else to make. Like Dragon Ball Z, for example. Dragon Ball Z has been around for a very long time, and we're getting a new wave with some characters that we have already seen, with newer versions of themselves, as well as a new character. We've got Android 16. I love the way he looks. I also like the way that the new Piccolo looks with the missing arm all the way back from the Saiyan saga. We've also got Krillin with a Destructo disc. I also really like the new Trunks. I was not a big fan of the original Trunks Trunks, but I did end up getting the old New York Comic-Con Super Saiyan Trunks, which I'm very happy that I have, but the new pose looks good, but I'm still very happy with my choices, and I even like the fact that they're giving us a version of Goku from the very end of the Dragon Ball Z series, but there are still so many characters that they haven't given us, and I have a feeling we may be getting them somewhere down the horizon, because Dragon Ball Z sells, guys, and I'm pretty sure that these will too. Ha! This one just made me laugh when they officially announced him. Bill Nye the Science Guy is getting a pop. I watched a few episodes of the show, but he is now a prominent figure in the world of science because of all of the talk about global warming, climate change, and the environment. Before all that, he was just Bill Nye the Science Guy, a kids' science show TV host, and I'm just so glad that they're making him a Funko Pop because he deserves one. Let's move on to movies, everybody. A lot of people had a feeling that there were going to be more Avengers Endgame pops, and why wouldn't there be? And I'm not surprised with the choices. We've got the newest version of Captain Marvel, we've got Korg playing the video game, we've got Spider-Man in death mode, we've also got the Hulk holding 2 tacos that he's supposed to give to Ant-Man, as well as a new version of Thanos and Bro Thor, but I have to say the one that really shines for me, and I don't have many MCU Funko Pops, guys, but knowing that this one's a common, I might seriously consider going for it, and it's Captain America holding Mjolnir and his broken shield. I loved the moment in the movie. I'm so glad that they're making a common version, because before this, you could only get him holding the hammer in the collector core box, so the fact that we're actually getting a common of Captain America, and I love the pose as well, makes me very excited. The expression is great too, so I might seriously consider getting my hands on this one, because I am a very big Captain America fan. Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, why wouldn't they make a Funko Pop? I'm not planning to see this movie. The pop does look very nice, the details do look great, but I'm not interested in the slightest. And one of the more interesting things that got announced was BT21. These are little characters that were designed by the famous K-pop group BTS, and the BTS pops really did well in sales, so why not create these little line figures that they made? So you can get the commons, but you can also get all the commons in a 7-piece box set, much like BTS themselves, and at the same source as well, Barnes & Noble. Also from Barnes & Noble, we were given the announcement of more Wetmore Forest Pops. Not just that, but the books and the plushies as well. I love the Wetmore Forest stuff. I'm so glad that Funko teamed up with Barnes & Noble to really give little kids these adorable characters in children's books, and also just snuggly plushies. But the pops are really cute too, and it's nice to see these figures coming to Barnes & Noble as well as other versions. So, if you like the Wetmore Forest stuff, guys, there's more on the way. Now let's get into it, guys. Let's get into New York Comic Con, which is going to be starting tomorrow, and I have to say I was very impressed with some of the things they gave us, because the theme this year, without a doubt, has to be cult fan favorites. They've really dug deep to give people some truly amazing Funko Pops, so let's begin. So we're not going to go in the order of the reveals, we're just going to give you guys themes. And we're going to start with all of the New York themes. We got a lot of really cool things, I have to admit. Everything from Freddie Funko in a New York City Police Department officer's uniform, a Babe Ruth, of course it's the New York Yankees. We've got the mascot. They did the same thing with San Diego Comic-Con. I didn't even know that these cons had a mascot, but as someone who's not a fan of pigeons, I am not interested in Pete the Pigeon. You can get 3 different versions of him, but I personally love the Hello Kitty in the Statue of Liberty getup. I think that that is the best of these 4. I wish I could get my hands on the Hello Kitty for my wife, but she already has the original, so there's no reason to get another one. And one of the few things that I personally think should have been done was, it's great to see Babe Ruth. They already made a regular common version of him, so it's nice to see him in the con, but guys, why not the Mets? I mean, come on, the Mets are just as important in baseball as the Yankees are. I mean, why couldn't you give us a Mike Piazza hitting the home run right after 9/11? I think that that would have been a beautiful thing. I mean, I just want to see Mike Piazza as a Funko Pop in general, because he is truly one of the greatest ever. And now let's take a look at some other true pieces of New York, although maybe not one specific one. I mean, we're getting a new version of Edgar Allan Poe, and considering the fact that his common is him with a raven on his shoulder, this one just doesn't seem to be as recognizable. But I love the fact that we're getting Debbie Harry from Blondie, because she got her career started at CBGB's, which is the famous New York bar in the Village. So it's also really nice to see the rock line expanding, because I think this is the first time that we ever got a rock icon at the con. But one of the other new things that they're doing is they're giving us 2 artists, and you've definitely seen their artwork. So it is really nice to know that we are going to be getting artists as well. I'm wondering if that means we're going to get others, even from the past, like Van Gogh to Pablo Picasso. Who knows? But these are more recent artists. One was a graffiti artist. One, his art is very, very common. You've definitely seen it before. Just type in their names and you'll see their paintings, and you'll probably recognize them instantaneously. And now let's get into the movies. We got some very interesting ones. I mean, we've got Sting in his role in Dune, which I think is really funny. We've got a 2001 Space Odyssey pop. That's insane. We also have a new addition to the Harry Potter line, including Madame Maxime, which is a 6-inch pop, and Mr. Filch with Mrs. Norris. I'm so glad that Filch is getting some love, because people do have a very soft spot for him, and I'm so glad to know that he will be getting a pop. But now let's talk about what I mean, like the true cult fan favorites. We've got a baseball fury from one of my favorite movies, The Warriors. There was an announcement that there was going to be a Warriors line. I, for one, would love a baseball fury. This is a Toy Tokyo exclusive, so that means it's going to be even harder. But this is not the baseball fury that I want. I want the leader, the one with the yellow face paint and the black eye. That's the character that I would love to add to my collection. I hope that they make him. We also have Darth Vader, the extraterrestrial from the planet Vulcan. And if you're a Back to the Future fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about, even though we all know that's Marty McFly. But the cult favorite to end all cult favorites is Slim from Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I've never seen that movie, but I know what this movie is. I know everything and anything about this movie because I had a friend who was a die-hard horror fan, and I have friends on YouTube who are die-hard horror fans who are so excited that they're making this Funko Pop, and he's going to be a feature at GameStop. That's the store that's going to be picking him up as a shared exclusive, so hopefully all of my friends out there who love Killer Clowns from Outer Space will get their hands on Slim. And now we're going to branch off from movies to television shows. And we've got some double packs. We got Blunt Man and Chronic from the View Askew universe, and this was a series that I was seriously considering picking up, but I changed my mind because I already have Jay and Silent Bob. There's so many other View Askew universe characters that I would like to see. People who have been patient are finally going to get their 2-pack of the Green Hornet and Kato with their masks. And these are not a 2-pack, but we're getting more Treehouse of Horror Funko Pops, and we're getting Mr. Burns as a vampire, and we're also getting the evil In Dreams groundskeeper Willie, and they are from 2 of the greatest Treehouse of Horror episodes, and I'm so glad that they're making them. We've also got a whole bunch of additional television shows, and you know, I was doing so well, and then of course, they broke me again. But thank goodness I didn't get broken too tough this time around. But we've got H.R. Puffin-Stuff characters. Samurai Jack is going to be getting pops. We've also got some more wacky races. We've also got Dwight with his own bobblehead from The Office. The Rick and Morty pops, of course, they were a mystery because of the fact that these are versions of Rick and Morty from Season 4, but they just recently been leaked. And I'm not going to give it away because it's not my place to do so, but you'll be able to find them, and sure, I'll give you guys a glam shot after the con. But the pop that got me right away was Daria. I was such a Daria fan growing up. I loved this show more than Beavis and Butthead. I'm a little upset that she's going to only be an exclusive, but maybe she will just be the first of a line that's going to show up somewhere in the near future, because she is one of the greatest animated characters ever made. Her show was one of the more successful spin-offs in television history, so the fact that Daria is becoming a Funko Pop is exciting for me at least, and I know that she's going to be shared with GameStop, so she is one of the first of 2 Funko Pops that I'm going to be getting from this con. And finishing up with television, we've also got a couple of additional shows, including Missandei from Game of Thrones. And I think the one character that everyone was excited about was the fact that we were going to get Susie from Stranger Things. She was a running gag throughout the entire season 3, and then we got the big surprise. And I love the fact that she is going to be created because she is a fan favorite among many. Let's move on to anime. We've also got 2 new My Hero Academias, as well as a character from Avatar: The Last Airbender. I don't watch these 2 shows, so I can't tell you who they are, but of course there were also some Dragon Ball Z ones, and this is where I decided to get my second pop. I love the Vegeta, but that's not the one I'm getting. I am a big fan of Piccolo. And because of the fact that I have Gohan, you know, it's hard to not have Gohan without Mr. Piccolo. But I never really cared much for the versions that we had gotten, but now we've got Mr. Piccolo levitating and meditating. That is a signature look for Piccolo. I love the way it looks. I definitely want to get my hands on this one. He's also going to be shared at GameStop, so the one thing that I'm very excited about is I only have to go to one specific source for shared exclusives this year. We also had a lot of Marvel stuff. We've got, of course, stuff from the MCU and outside of the MCU. We got Tony Stark with the Infinity Gauntlet. I mean, people were not too fond of the pose. People wanted the kneeling pose. They thought that that would be better. We've also got Stan the Man from his appearance in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. We've also got a Dark Phoenix shirt and pop box, as if we didn't need any more Phoenixes. But we also had some old school comic book Marvel characters, including Miss Marvel and Marvel, as well as the original Nick Fury. DC didn't really give us much, but it's just not a Comic-Con without a Chrome Batman, and this is a purple Chrome Batman celebrating the 80 years, and he's only available for 1,500 pieces, so he is going to be tough to get. But they also did announce a new DC character in the lineup, Huntress, and I think she looks great. We also had some new games being given to us. We've got a brand new Fortnite pop, which is glow-in-the-dark, a brand new Borderlands pop, and a brand new oversized Overwatch pop. Disney didn't break me this time, guys, but I have to admit the creativity is here. We've got a pop ride of Mickey on the Matterhorn. He's going to be limited to 1,500 pieces, so he's going to be very tough to get, guys. We've also got Donald Duck in a fireman's outfit. We've also got Benny the Dummy from Toy Story 4, and I love this. I truly, truly do, but I don't want it. It's Kevin and the Up House. I have Carl and Ellie. That's enough for me. But I do love the fact that they did this. I still was hoping for other specific things from Disney, but you know what? My wallet's going to take a very big break this year at the con, and hopefully there won't be much money spent for a while on Funko Pops, so I can at least save for other possible big surprises in the 2020 cons to come. And to close it out, we have 2 icons. We already got Peter Pez, and we've already got his crew, and now we're going to be getting 2 variants of Mimic the Monkey and Miss Pez. So, Pez fans, I even actually heard that the Pez factory is close to where I live, so I might seriously consider taking a trip to see what it looks like. But this is really cool, and I'm pretty sure that there are going to be people that are going to want to get these. And once again, these are definitely fan favorites. Funko really did something truly special this year to really connect with the fans, and I'm glad that they did that. Not so much in terms of quantity, but a hell of a lot in terms of quality. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Just leave your comments in the box below. Let me know which specific Funko Pops that are available at the con that you are the most excited for. You know I like to talk about Funko Pops, and I'm really curious to know if there's anything specific that has recently been announced from the world of Funko Pop that you're interested in. I mean, there was so much news getting cranked out, even to the day that I was actually recording this video. I just couldn't put it all in, because if I did, we would have just been sitting here forever. But that only lets me know that November is going to be just as fun as October. So in the meantime, enjoy the con, have fun with the collecting, and I will see you in the next one. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. If you're new here and want to see more of what my channel has to offer, please click on the link to my last video, or hit that subscribe button to be kept up to date with all of my uploads. Content of all sorts is posted here quite often, so trust me, you do not want to fall behind. I will see you in the comments, and actions speak louder than words.